Hello and welcome everybody to the VooPlayer Q&A weekly webinar. We're going to get started here in just a moment, but before we do, if you would be kind enough just to confirm that you can both hear my voice as well as see my screen, which should say VooPlayer Q&A on it, and then we can get started. So if you can just hear me and see my screen, just type in audio and video are okay in the chat box, and that way I know everything is good before we get started. Thank you. Alrighty, that's excellent. We got a few confirmations from VJ, Dean, Christopher. Hello, guys, and welcome to everybody else who's joining today. Thank you for taking the time to attend. So a brief introduction up front. My name is Peter. I am the product manager of VooPlayer, and we are holding these weekly Q&A sessions in order to answer any questions which you guys may have as users, provide any training on advanced features, also to showcase some of the new stuff that we've been implementing, also to gather feedback on how we can improve ourselves, and also to there was something else on my mind, but I can't think what it was. So the format of the webinar is pretty simple. So at any time that you have a question, or if you have some prepared questions, you can just drop them in the chat box, and we'll just answer them in the order that they come in. So also, if you're not able to attend the webinar, just a note for people, we also take all of the questions from our Facebook group and then collect them during the week, and then we answer them in the weekly webinar. All of the webinar replays are available on the day after. So the following day, we're going to post the replay of the webinar to both our YouTube channel as well as to our Facebook group. And recently, we started actually taking annotations of some interesting points throughout the webinar to make that review of the webinar somewhat easier. So hopefully all of that makes sense, and we could jump right into it. Dean already has a question. Let's see, video funnels, adding an image to answer what is the best site to use for the images. All right, so we'll get to that question right after a couple of announcements. So on the docket for today, few announcements, one big one and a few a little bit smaller ones. Then we do have some questions which came in a couple of days ago, so we'll answer those first. And any questions which you guys ask, we'll get to those as well. And if time permits, we'll have a brief training session with regards to some advanced use cases of VooPlayer, which I believe might be interesting. If not, we'll just postpone that to next week. All right, so what's been going on with VooPlayer? Let me just get the application over here on the screen so you can see it. So a couple of new things. So on the last week's call, I was talking about the upcoming affiliate program for VooPlayer, which I am more than pleased to announce is now fully ready. So it's official. If you go to if you are a VooPlayer user, you can just go to your affiliate by referring people to VooPlayer, or by allowing people to come to VooPlayer by watching your videos. If you guys remember, we talked about this, so you can enable the VooPlayer affiliate badge on all of your videos or on individual videos, and that way anybody who comes in through your unique referral link is going to start earning you commissions. And the commissions are 30 on all of the charges that come through your referral. So if it's a monthly subscription or if it's a yearly subscription, you're just going to continue earning 30% on all of those commissions from people. I'm getting a couple of reports that the sound is not of the best quality. So let me just try and mute myself and unmute myself. Maybe that helps. Just take just a brief break. Sorry. All right, I just reset my mic, so hopefully the audio connection is a little bit better now. I'm not sure what's going on. Is audio better now? Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Hopefully the call didn't drop. Dean is saying that the voice is a little bit better. Steve is saying no sound still, will reconnect. All right, while Steve reconnects, I'll just wrap up with this affiliate announcement. So as I said, if you are an existing VooPlayer user, you can just come over here to the affiliate profile, and that way you're gonna, after the sign up and after the approval, you're gonna get your unique VooPlayer link. And if you are not a VooPlayer user, for some case, you can head directly to affiliates.vooplayer.com and you can complete that sign up form there. So even people who are not VooPlayer users can become affiliates and get their unique referral link, which is going to earn them commissions. So that's great. All right, so that's the first thing that I wanted to announce and get out of the way. The next thing is, throughout the webinars, we've been getting some interesting feature requests, and we weren't necessarily sure how to start packing those into the application so that they're available for, let's say, pre-release testing purposes. So we kind of decided to do something a little bit unusual. We're kind of still testing it out and seeing how it works. But now with the new release of VooPlayer, which came out earlier today, a few hours ago, so should be on all of your guys' applications. The last option over here on the right all of the feature settings is show beta features. So we enabled some of the webinar features which we've been discussing in this because we're still not sure if we want to push them live or not. So we're just going to testing them out and gathering feedback on them and seeing how people interact with them, because we're getting all sorts of interesting analytics on the utilization of each feature. So and some features which we're not sure that are gonna make it to the final production, we're gonna kind of test them out and see how they behave here. So if you come over here and just turn on beta features, so again, it's optional and hidden by default, but you can say, all right, I want to turn on beta features and see what's available in there. Currently, we have a couple of things in there. And the first thing is the ability to skip and rewind the video. And you can toggle if you want to turn on skipping or rewinding, and basically how that looks within the application. Actually, I think I embedded this video over here. Yeah. So you add these two controls, and you can choose which one of them you want to utilize. So the benefit of this is pretty self-explanatory, but mostly in the use cases where the video lasts for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, sometimes it's rather difficult to pinpoint the exact point where you want. I just saw something really cool. I want to just go a little bit backwards just so I can see it again, but I can't find that exact point on the timeline. Not to mention about trying to find something on the timeline if you're on a handheld mobile or tablet device. That's just a nightmare. I hate when that happens. So that's why we've as a beta release again are releasing these two features, which are enabling you to skip the video backwards and forwards 10 seconds. And this video is only 5 seconds long, so that doesn't necessarily do it justice, but you get the idea there. So again, that feature is now available under beta features and skip and rewind, and you can control which one of those controls is going to show up in your video. We're as I said, welcoming any type of feedback on these features. And one of the things that popped into our mind, and we're curious to see how people are going to react to it, is because currently the interval for skipping is locked at 10 seconds. So would it be interesting maybe to have a customizable interval there by default, 10 seconds? So any kind of feedback, you guys feel free to play with it and let us know what you think about that features. All right, and the second feature, which is added in the beta features, which are again, hello Shade, just in case you missed the webinar thus far, we just covered the release of the affiliate program, which is available from within the application, also from affiliates.vooplayer.com, and we're getting into the new released beta features, which are available since today on everybody's VooPlayer application. So the first feature was skip and rewind, and the second feature is, I can't remember who asked for this, but we had feedback over the webinar over the last, I don't know, maybe a couple of months, maybe even sooner than that, to kind of play with the full screen abilities of the video player and the ability to force full screen on a certain event. So as I mentioned then, that since that kind of has potential to be abused by some marketers, and it's not necessarily the best experience for people viewing the video, we're still kind of testing this and seeing what kind of feedback we're going to gather from this. That's the thing number one. And William, yeah, that's right, William asked about that. And the second thing is that the browser makers themselves, so for example, Google for Chrome or Mozilla for Firefox, are not allowing you to go full screen without some sort of a user interaction. So it can't just be the video gets to second 3 and then it just goes into the full screen. So it needs some sort of a interaction from the user that's triggered, that's called a source event that the user initiated. So what we're kind of testing out here is on the user-initiated play. So if the user comes over here and clicks the play button on that event of the click, if this feature, of course, is turned on, out of full screen on play, then what's going to happen as soon as the play is hit, then the video is going to go full screen. So that's only on the play event for now, and we want to see how this performs and if people are finding it useful or if we're getting negative feedback about it, and then we can kind of figure out how we want to develop this and take it further. All right, next thing that I wanted to discuss, we had, as I mentioned, a few questions prior to the webinar, which I want to get to just briefly. So we had a question about when we'll be able to turn on and off the red dot and live stream text button, text on the bottom of the Evergreen live streaming. So that's, again, one of the things that's been asked a lot, and we just haven't gotten around to it. So here I'll promise with the next release, I'll sort this out. So this is referring to, and we have a couple of questions with regards to live streaming, so I might as well just create one quickly. So let's put it at some point in the future. So let's say next week, and save that and publish. So hopefully that's going to give me a I think that's this video actually. So I think that's going to give me the countdown for the webinar. Yeah, all right. So the first question was with regards to the live streaming, which shows at the bottom the ability to turn that on and off. We still haven't got that in this release, but we don't do this often, and we'll try not to, just in case we're not able to fulfill promises. But in the next week's release, we'll add an ability to remove that. The second question with regards to this was, when do you think the update for improved countdown timer with better auto sizing and sizing options, more customizations with regards to the style and so on, will be available? With the release today, actually, I believe some improvements have been made there. So there was a lot of problems with the responsiveness of this. It looks like I might have lost audio and video connection there. Cannot see or hear. Yeah, Dean, I noticed that as well. So I just reset it again. Hopefully that resolves it. So let me just, how about now? Just to make sure we're back. Hopefully we're good. You're back. All right, that wasn't that bad. Yeah, so responsiveness of the live webinar countdown is available with the release which came out today. And with regards to the customization of the styles and different backgrounds for the timer and so on, that's not something that we can release just yet. So we still kind of want to process that. Maybe we'll still explore it a little bit and see if we can put it out through some sort of a customization feature in the upcoming releases. What is the difference between the evergreen webinar whenever somebody joins and an autoplay video? The primary difference basically is that with an autoplay, you still have all of the different controls for the video where the people can skip back and forth and so on. But with any sort of a webinar, including the whenever somebody joins, is that they don't have the controls for skipping back and forth, meaning that they need to watch the video in a linear sequence. That and also the display is a little bit different, meaning that it looks like a webinar. So hopefully that answers that question. And can you do a tutorial on how to use conversion tracking, the difference between different codes and how to implement and use them for best effect? How to use time options within this section. Also, what other things can be added to the custom code section. So admittedly, the conversion tracking section of the features is not necessarily the easiest to understand, and it's definitely on one of our one of the things on our priority list with regards to some of the things which we want to make a little bit more understandable how it works. So what's the difference between the pixel code and the conversion code? With regards to the execution of it, literally there's no difference. And with regards to the custom code, also there is no difference. So all of these are acting in the same way, and that's why we kind of think there's a better way of executing this, but we haven't gotten around to it yet. So custom code, for example, serves for anything that you want to insert within your video, such as a tracking code, such as maybe a live chat functionality, or Google Analytics code, or something that runs some sort of a pop-up. I don't know, any sort of a custom code which you would put on your website, custom styling capabilities, and so on if you want to insert your own styling. We had a use case not so far ago where somebody wanted to kind of translate some of the features within VooPlayer, and we did not have a translating feature available, so they used a service, and I don't think I can remember it, but it was something like Babbik.com. It's a service where you can kind of convert your site into a different language, and then you just need to kind of put in a script. And I think that this guy was translating some of the opt-ins and so on into German, so he just put that in the custom code, and basically that works. So here's a related question. Would Google Tag Manager work inside of VooPlayer? Yes, it would. In theory, depending on exactly what you wanted to do. But if you wanted to, can you give me just a little bit of a use case here? So do you want to like set up ads and then track if the people have seen a specific part of the video? Is that kind of the scenario? If you give me a little bit more detail on that, I can probably answer better without just kind of trying to guess what use case there is. But basically, yes, any kind of even not only Google tags, but even the display of, so if you have an AdSense account, you can insert the ads inside of VooPlayer video, so you can see if while the video is playing. So let me try and set that up real quickly. I don't know if my AdSense account is still active. So AdSense example code, maybe. That'll do the trick. Support@google.com, where to paste it. This isn't it. I wanted to configure that. AdSense code, maybe. Getting copied the ad code. Where to place it? Auto ads. Set up auto ads. Sorry. Thank you. That was interesting. Sign into your AdSense account, blah, 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 blah. There was an example demo AdSense code, maybe. Code generator. All right, this is what I wanted to do. So to use this code, you must have an AdSense account, blah, 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 blah. All right, so I think I have it. So let's say I want the query to be hotels. Yeah, all right, why not? And I'll grab this code. Actually, I'll need both of these. So I'll come into here, and what I want to do is I'll create an overlay. So I'll come over here and paste it in. So, and I'll come over here to edit the source of this overlay, and I'll paste in that head code, and I'll also paste in the body code, and I'll make this overlay last from second 1 to second 5, for example, and I'll just confirm that source. So that way you can see that the ads for hotels, I got the booking.com and hotels.com AdSense inside of my video. And again, I can do whatever I want with this overlay from here on. I can maybe style it a little bit differently, so I can position it over here on the left-hand side and so on, customize it a little bit better. Basically, something that I talked about in the last webinar is that VooPlayer is basically like a layer on top of your video, which is a website. So a fully customizable website, which you can put on top of a video and add interaction between that top layer, which is fully customizable, and the video source, which is below the video. So any sorts of tags, any sort of custom scripting, and so on can work. So in answer to the original question with regards to the differences between the conversion tracking and on the Facebook pixel and so on, there's no differences. They all act in the exact same way. The only difference being is this time feature, which allows you to specify when a particular code is going to execute. So you don't necessarily need to put Facebook retargeting pixel in here. You could just put any sort of a script. So I can put the code for the Google AdSense ads, and then I can specify I want that to be ran on second 7 or something like that. I can't type in 7 because there's max of 5, but oh well. And that way you can specify, so if you want a pixel which is fired only if somebody watched more than a half of a video, then you would specify the time for it for when it's ran. So hopefully that answers that question. All right, so that's the questions which we had before the webinar. Now let's go back to the Dean's question all the way at the bottom, so we're not skipping anyone. So Dean's question was with regards to the video funnels and adding an image to the answer A, B, and C. What is the best size to use for the images? So I'll come over here to video funnels, and I don't know if I have one. I have the support funnel over here. Let me just, that's not going to work. That's a bad example. Let me find out a better example. Man, I don't have one. I'll just make a new one. So I'll come over here and say webinar funnel. And let me see if I have something over here. Funnel testing video. That'll do. And I'll create a new funnel. So I'll ask the first question, which is going to be, hello, are you happy now? That can be the question. Are you really happy? And then the Dean's question was with regards to using the images as answers. So if I wanted to have yes and no here, those could be simple text answers for that question. However, if instead of that, I wanted to do something like this. So instead of just text, I don't need text anymore. I just wanted to use yes and no. This question was, are there any recommendations with regards to the sizing of these images and which size is the best? So there is no general recommendation aside from the suggestion that you should really consider the context in which your video is going to be played. So if you expect a lot of people watching from mobile devices, or if you expect people, perhaps, it depends again if you have 6 answers or if you have 2 answers. If you have 2 answers, you have a little bit more space with regards to the clarity of the images, which you can see. This is simple enough, but as soon as I start doing add an answer and I want to add another one and I want to do another one, and let that will do for now. Let me just remove this text. So as soon as I start doing that, the images are going to start getting smaller and smaller. So this is the example of what this would look like on a mobile device. So it's a really good idea to use images for answers, as far as I'm concerned, because text is definitely one of the issues which we're having with funnels on mobile devices, because then you're going to start getting overflow of text. And then you're not going to be able to sync up everything. So using images as answers is a great idea, and we highly recommend that with regards to constructing the answers. But with regards to the sizing, it doesn't really matter, because the bigger the player, the bigger the images are, and the smaller the player, the smaller the images will be. So that's kind of the only thing to keep in mind, Dean. If you have more answers than 2, you're probably better with somewhat smaller, images which are better viewed at a smaller resolution. Whereas if you have only 2 answers, you can probably use images which don't need so much precision on there, meaning somewhat larger images and larger resolution images. So hopefully that answers that question. But it's a really good idea to use images as the answers rather than text if you want to achieve consistency across the interface for the answers. So Vijay followed up with regards to the Google tag, just to connect pixels and tracking codes to GTM, and then just insert one GTM code into VooPlayer. Yeah, that would absolutely work. As I said, it would act the exact same way if you place those tags anywhere on your website. Alan, hi, I would like to, how would I display a live website as an overlay on a video, maybe on one half of the screen? So we just did that a second ago, but no problem, we'll do it again. So I'll come over to this video. Hopefully I didn't save those Google ads. No, I didn't. So here's what you would do, Alan. You would come over here to Marketing Tools, Interactions and CTAs. You would choose Overlays, and you would say, all right, I want to create a new overlay over my video. So you would position this overlay first. So I think it will be best to do something like this. So I want to create an annotation, which is, let's say, over half of the video. So I'll put it over here on the right-hand side of the video. And I'll just remove this headline because I don't necessarily need it. So all I have is this content area for the video. So what you would do if you want to put an overlay over the video, I'm not sure how familiar you are with HTML, but you can simply just write something like this, and I think there's generators out there online which kind of write this code out for you. So you can say, all right, I want to create an iframe with the source of that iframe being something like VooPlayer.com, for example. And I will just close this iframe code. And I can style it a little bit, so I can say, all right, let's make this take up 100% of this overlay. So it's going to take up 100%, and the height of this can be also 100%. So hopefully I think that will work. If not, I think I have a bit of a workaround for that. So I think there's that iframe of the video, all right, but I think we can do a little bit better. So height, that's not right, height. I can't see the other monitor is really far away from me. Height is 100%. All right, but you can also customize it to custom values. So you can say, all right, height is 500 pixels. So I think that's going to work a little bit better. So let's take a look at that. I think that's going to look a little bit different. Yeah, so here's that so iframe. Let me just make sure that that's all saved. So I'll have this last from second 1 to second 5, and we'll save that overlay. So now when the video is played, then at second 1, this overlay is going to pop up over the video, and with it, I have the live VooPlayer.com website. So hopefully that kind of answers that question. William, not sure how to word this, but would a hyperlink feature launch a selected playlist? Any possibility to fit this in within the platform? How would a hyperlink feature launch a selected playlist any possibility to fit this inside of the platform? How would it launch a selected playlist? Do not fully understand that. How would a hyperlink feature launch a selected playlist? Launch it as, so let me just kind of go through the possibilities for creating playlists. So if, let's say I have this demo playlist, which I think currently has 2 videos in it, I could just generate the code for it, and then I can have this hyperlink, which when pasted somewhere or triggered from a web page, and I think I'm actually on the dev environment currently, so I'm going to just switch from that. But basically, you could use this link for the playlist to open up the playlist, or alternatively, as with anything else, you can embed it somewhere on your website, or you can generate a pop-up. So let's say on your website, you just said, hey, want to watch this playlist? So the text would be trigger the playlist. And let me just save this. So I think that's fine. And I'll come back to this. Did I close that page? I think I did. Let me reopen it. Test admin. I'll just create a new WordPress post for this. So I'll add a new post. Why not? Trigger playlist. And we'll just paste that in there and publish this. And let's just open it. So basically, you would construct your playlist as you usually would, but I guess you could just utilize the one of the publish methods for the playlist, be that the embed, the share link, or the pop-up to trigger it. So let me just see where, and there it is. So you're reading some text, and then you have, hey, I want to trigger this playlist. So when that's clicked, the pop-up window, or rather the pop-up with that playlist, will be set up. Let me just switch the environments over here. So production, I'll just jump to production. I think this is on production. Just refresh that. And there, or maybe not, sorry. Actually, I think that's one of the deleted videos. I think I'm on production, but that video is deleted. So that way, that would trigger the entire playlist module within that pop-up. So hopefully that answers that. Not sure if it does. If not, or if I haven't answered any questions, feel free to just follow up with us at support@woolplayer.com. We really appreciate getting those answers. We need to start wrapping up because I love answering these questions, but unfortunately I have a meeting with a potential candidate for the developer position, so I don't want to leave him hanging. So I need to get to that. But let me just see if there are any outstanding things here. In a previous webinar, you said we could use OneDrive as storage for videos, but when I tried it yesterday, WooPlayer just gave me an invalid URL error. Here is the link for the test. I uploaded to OneDrive. Let me just check that. All right, so this is from OneDrive. So what happens if I come here and inspect that? Because this is, I don't think this is the download URL. I think the OneDrive provides a different format for the video of the URL which you want to download. So I'll follow up with you, Vijay. I'll make a note to figure out if the format of is it correct and how to generate the right format for the video. Alan is saying, I have used the Dropbox to host WooPlayer and it worked fine. I'm pretty sure it works with OneDrive as well, but it's a little bit tricky to kind of format that URL. I'll definitely follow up with Vijay here. Vijay, if you don't mind, because I just realized I don't have a way to follow up with you because I don't have your email. Just shoot us an email or just go to woolplayer.com and just open up a new chat. Just say Peter needs to follow up with me with regards to OneDrive. And now that you mentioned it, I think I've heard some people from the support team talking about the OneDrive support probably with regards to you. So I'll definitely follow up on that. Steve, great to see the examples you were using, various features. Many thanks. All right, everybody. Need to start wrapping this up, but thank you for attending this week, and hopefully, I'm really sorry that I didn't get to the training session, which I promised. So something to look forward to next week if you join. I want to show you a neat trick that's, I think, gonna optimize your Vue player usage a lot, and I'll give you some tricks and tips which will give you a lot more benefits to using Vue Player. So I don't know, I got confused there at the end a little bit. So long story short, again, thank you everybody. Hope to see you next week, and take care. All right, bye.